The views and opinions of the producer, hosts, and guests in the show do not directly reflect the official stand and policies of the management, the network, and the company.
Is your business lucky or not at the moment? Have no fear, luck can be near or right here. You are lucky to meet the Feng Shui Master. We welcome you to the online luck mentoring program to help you unlock solutions to business case problem and profit with honor and lucky prosperity. Relax and enjoy your fun learning with your partner in luck, Master Aldric Broadcasting live from Big Media. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui.
Hello, good evening. It's another Wednesday and another 1.5 hour of Feng Shui discussion. No? So tonight, as a post-Chinese New Year rejoinder, we'll share with you 8 initial amazing Feng Shui stories that will awaken you to the powers of the science of energy management called Feng Shui. No? Okay, so tonight you can be ready with your paper and pencils or pens to take salient notes, no? Along the way for your nuggets of learning. We will do it in short business case studies of how, from my personal experience, Feng Shui can be, as we call it, an adjective also lucky. Okay, so before we start the ball rolling, you can share with your friends to watch tonight. In the meantime, we'll have a station break and we proceed accordingly thereafter.
We'll be back shortly. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
Technology allows us to explore a variety of opportunities. So why not grab one for you? Kickstart your online business with Big Benta. Create an account, visit our store builder, then make your online shop. Be visible, gain customers, and run your business hassle-free. Plus, enjoy the support of our local merchandising team to maximize our platform. Make technology work for you with Big Benta, Pinoy e-commerce site made for you. After this pandemic, let's support the Filipino community. Buy local, visit local, go local.
Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on Big Media.
I'd like to shout out my greetings to fellow JCs or senior members or current members of Junior Chamber International for my first business case will be about myself. Okay. And I'll take this occasion to thank my fellow JCs for the opportunity to succeed in doing Feng Shui as I started my Feng Shui consultancy literally with the JCs. And here goes my story. Okay, so I hope you'll be entertained with my type of MMK. Okay, so dear Ate Charo, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so it all started sometime in the early 90s when my colleagues in the JCs, namely past National President Jerry Sevilla and another past National President uh, Bobby Alvarez, both of Makati JCs and Parañaque JCs, had a joint area meeting among several JC chapters at Aberdeen Court in Makati Avenue. And they asked me if, since I think it was Chinese New Year time, if I can invite my Feng Shui master, no, my teacher, to be the guest speaker to cap the night for a night of Chinese New Year enjoyment. Okay, so I did, and it so happened that during the open forum, this business case I call the Realtors Challenge. No? So after everything was said and done by our master speaker regarding the outlook of the year and feng shui prognosis and recommendations for each Chinese zodiac sign, in the open forum, a realtor stood up. He was JC Jojo Faren. No? He was then a realtor. He stood up, and to my surprise, he challenged the guest speaker on the plenary floor, not to a fight, okay, but since during that time uh, there was an economic crisis and it badly hit the real estate sector, and him as a salesperson, as a realtor, was badly affected. And he confessed before the group that he was doing badly. No? So he challenged the Feng Shui master if indeed Feng Shui works, because he was then volunteering himself, no, on the floor to be the guinea pig to prove that Feng Shui works. What a smart Alec, no? Uh, it immediately occurred to me, this guy just wants to save one Feng Shui feast, okay? But nevertheless, I was also surprised when the Feng Shui master engaged him and told him, if only to prove to you that Feng Shui works, that is a science, and it did not be done by me, it can be done by anybody who understands Feng Shui clearly, then I would like to assign and volunteer my friend over here, who's your fellow JCs, which was apparently me, to do your Feng Shui. And rest assured, uh, it will work on you. To my amazement, I whispered to the Feng Shui master, why are you putting me on the spot? There are around almost several hundred JCs here. You're putting my reputation at stake. And he whispered back, don't worry, you can do it. And just do what you understood, no? And it will work. Okay, so not to uh, shame my guest and my feng shui master, I accepted the challenge. And to my surprise, right then and there, uh, fellow JC Jojo Faren invited me to do the feng shui of his house right away after that event. And so I have no choice. Anyway, it was on the way on the way home for me. So, and it so happened I also had no ride for that night. So I banked on his bringing me home after the session. So we went all the way to his home in Acropolis Village in Libis, no? Now fronting the fully developed Eastwood. At that time, Eastwood was still under construction, no? Early 90s. So what happened was we did the feng shui of his house with full lights on, and apparently, due to his poverty at that time, uh, we chugged along going home as he brought me. No, we had to push his car, from time to time as it conked out. No, uh, I forgot the brand of the car. Anyway, so all settled. We did the feng shui for that night, and to my surprise and chagrin, 3 months later, he comes in the middle of the night knocking at my door. And I said, "Oh, Jojo, why are you here?" And I said, he said, uh, "Come, my wife's with me. Please bring your wife along. Let's have a double date and paint the town red and black or whatever, no? Bruce the night with going out on discos at that time, no? Bar hopping." Uh, and he showed me outside the street, he was sporting a new Pajero, which was the latest model at that time. And he said, "I'd like you to have the honor of having the first joyride with us uh, on this new vehicle because it's a katas ng feng shui. The feng shui that you did to me worked, and we'd like to celebrate with you and your wife." And I said, "Hey, wait, that's unfair. Let me call up the feng shui master. Let's pass by for him also." No? In fairness, since it was his recommendation, let's honor him by his discretion, no? And his wise decision to do so. So we did, okay, and celebrated the night away. Okay, so when after another 3 months, he calls me again. This time, seeking a different kind of help. He said he's now bringing in a new. I think the pattern that time was somebody can bring in a Mercedes Benz latest model through BOI or DTI incentives. That he needed a lucky plate number, and he wanted me to help him secure an 888 car plate from fellow JC at LTFRB head Dante Lantin, whom he knew I was also doing feng shui for, no, at that time. So I said, okay. And time and again, uh, he had new vehicles and we had to facilitate lucky numbers for him. And one day, he invited me to attend his birthday party. I said, "I don't know your friends and I'll, I might be out of place." He said, "No, it's very important. You will understand later." So when I attended this party that night, uh, at the middle of the impromptu program, he stood beside his arowana aquarium, which we had placed when we did feng shui for the house. And he said, let me interrupt this program to introduce to you my feng shui guy. And why I need to introduce him to you is not to promote his services or whatnot, no, but just to prove to you that I am not a carnapper, I'm not a drug dealer, nor a kidnapper, as rumors around our village are going on. Because most neighbors, I understand, are suspicious of my fast accumulation of vehicles that parking has spilled out to the streets, no? Uh, and rumors are afoot that I'm getting rich because I'm a criminal character, no? He said, and to put all those rumors to rest, uh, let me share with you the secret. And the secret was this guy feng shuied me, and it worked, and that's it. Now, I don't have to explain myself anymore to you. I hope you understand why. And most of the villagers there were Chinese, and so they were all nodding their head. Okay, so unknowns to him, after that, during the cocktails, no, well, over beer and food, most of the villagers, his neighbors, approached me to get my number. Okay, and only for me to be surprised the next day, his immediate neighbor across the street, an architect couple, engaged me discreetly not to tell him to have feng shui. And it was a fertility case. No? Imagine a couple, both architects, having built their dream mansion at a plush village like Acropolis, and it was a lonely environment whereby the occupant was only both of them, a maid, a driver, and nothing more. No, no baby. Apparently, for almost 8 years being married, they had fertility issues, no, but no medical impediments. So um, with that, we did the feng shui of the house. It turns out that the master's bedroom is only good for the husband, so it renders reproduction-wise the wife having no fertility energies to conceive a baby. And it turns out only the guest room is fine-tuned for the fertility and reproductive capacity of the wife. So I recommended that if they're serious in having a baby, the feng shui recommendation is to do what I call a full court press. I said, what's a full court press? I said, when you make baby, first half, master bedroom. Second half, guest room. So balance, yin and yang. And thereafter, 9 months later, I received a surprise call, uh, invitation to a baptism in the village clubhouse with Jojo as Ninong, uh, together with me, no, for their new baby. And thereafter, it was a spiral story of all the other neighbors engaging also my services. So it developed my feng shui market base. Almost a good 80% of Acropolis in Libis became my clients. So whether Chinese or non-Chinese, it grew, no? And of course, the word of mouth referral reached even the Taipan relatives of this, no? And one glad uh, Feng Shui sessions I can recall in that village would be at least two other significant uh, achievements Feng Shui wise. No, one was a frustrated wife who was uh, desperate for the retention of her husband as coach of a leading basketball team because there was threat of being changed, no, in the PBA. That's a big thing, no, career wise. So all we did was, it's a good thing the coach was familiar with the lucky fish, the arowana, and since they had a pond ready and properly situated in their home, we just placed as a remedy the lucky arowana fish. And wow, uh, that night, uh, the proving game of the coach whether he will go or stay, shape up or ship out situation proved to be a truly shape up one as it began his several Grand Slam career in the PBA. And just like the neighbor, Jojo Farren, since every time he wins a championship, there was a bonus vehicle, neighbors also became surprised as his uh, numerous cars started spilling out to park in the village street. No? Okay, so that was one memorable feng shui experience in that village. And the other one was another neighbor, a frantic wife also, engaged me. She was so concerned about her husband who's taking up the bar law exams. No, he's from UP, and the purpose was to fix his house to at least pass the bar, okay, and be successful as a lawyer. And true enough, after the feng shui, after the bar exams results came, he not only passed the bar, he became number one, no? Bar top notcher, and he's now, I understand, president of the University of the Philippines. Okay, so this is part of amazing stories uh, that began my feng shui career. Okay, so it all started from a tiny village called Acropolis, and only for me to discover later after that feng shui I did to realtor challenge Jojo Farren. He became the top salesman of the area uh, for Santa Lucia, I think the developer of the village. Okay, until recently I met him again as president already of or past president of Pasig Realtors Board. Okay, so that's our first amazing set of stories. My business case called the Realtors Challenge that set me up on my feng shui consultancy career. Okay, next would be what they call a sugar baroness dilemma, no, turnaround case. So in one case, the husband of one of my clients happened to be an investment banker and financial consultant. Uh, his name is Mr. Boy Ampil, and together with his team, I think Greg Lecaros Jr., they were into financial workouts. and they had a difficult business case to work out, no? Investment banking wise. This sugar baroness, uh, I don't know if you know her, very popular. I think she was the queen of the sugar kedan industry, or yung may mga sugar quota allocations in the business. Margarita Sia, during that time, encountered a financial dilemma, no, with the government banks. Um, she had to face around 6 billion peso liability, of which cleaning it out was the mission of her financial advisors. So the financial advisors summoned me, and I was surprised when I went to the office, to Feng Shui the office. Wow, all types of desperate moves by an ordinary, typical matriarch tycoon in the Philippines, be it Chinese descent or Filipina descent, uh, does, no? I see cotton buds on top of the door, sticking out, all these estampitas, things that espiritistas do from Quiapo, which for me are all folklore or superstition and not proper feng shui. So in a crash course, I oriented the principal, Mrs. Sia, and her financial advisors on what the proper feng shui moves are. Okay, but what was necessary, I said, was a balance of energy forces, because there is an unseen factor if we just do the office. I said it is imperative that we do her house, which was somewhere in Pasig, no, in one of the executive villages. Uh, so we did also the feng shui of the house. It turned out that the real dilemma of her 6 billion financial problem originated from her house. Okay? Because in the master's bedroom, she was one of the first ones to have this humongous, giant projection TV, the size of a queen size bed put upright. She bought it from Hong Kong, and it was right there, grandly sitting at the center in front of her bed, their master's bedroom bed, for proper viewing. In front of their bed was the giant projection TV. And what was unique about that projection TV was it had a rabbit antenna. You know, this robot-like thing with two antennas you fix to capture the signal, no? And when I went closer, the rabbit antenna had a base which had a picture frame. And the picture frame had the image of Hong Kong's uh, view, no? So it had the ocean, it's like Hong Kong Bay or something in front, no? A body of water, which I pointed out to Mrs. Tia was the cause of her dilemma. Because in Feng Shui, you should never put any water symbol in the master's bedroom. And it so happened, this small picture frame embedded in the uh, rabbit antenna was an ocean bay. And water symbolizes money. And if it's in the master's bedroom, it symbolizes money or financial drain. So I said, Mom, can you imagine? You're draining yourself equivalent to the volume of water of Hong Kong Bay. It's like Manila Bay or bigger, no? So you can imagine the volume of water and the volume of money that's drained from your coffers. And true enough, we have the figure 6 billion. Okay. I think she owed it PNB or DBP, no, at that time. No? So she said, "What's the remedy? Do I get rid of the TV?" And I said, "No, mom. Very simple remedy. Let's get rid of the picture of the bay because it was like a photograph, a postcard, just inserted into that base picture frame of the rabbit antenna. And you can substitute family picture there or any favorite picture you want. Okay? So we pulled it out and she tore it. Okay, right there and then, dispose of it. Okay? So that's the end of, in Feng Shui, the end of her financial problem. And she asked, what else should we do? I said, since your financial status is shaky, it concerns your careers and everybody's careers in the company, this calls for a Feng Shui solution too of taking care of a pet turtle. It's good that they had a grotto, the proper location also in their house, and there was a pond, a grotto pond, where she can locate the turtle. So we just bought from a nearby pet shop in Pasig a small red-eared slider green turtle uh, and placed it in the pond where it easily found a home. No? And Mr. Chua, her husband, was so happy about taking care of a pet turtle. Being Chinese, he knew that turtle is also a bringer of good luck to a home or a person's life, no, and even enterprise. Okay. So what was the result of her dilemma after around uh, less than a month? The 6 billion problem was restructured and solved eventually. And when I went back to visit, I said, "Oh, mom, where's Mr. Chua? Oh, he goes home early now. Why? Uh, no work or what? No. He wants to talk to the turtle every day." Okay. So, uh, her husband found a new pet hobby and companion uh, to take away his stress from his daily grind. Okay, so that's what we call the sugar baroness business case. No, a 6 billion matriarch problem solved in less than a quarter. Okay, so that's our second story. We have six more stories to complete eight prosperity stories tonight. Okay, so feel free to ask questions. Just comment and we will address this as we go along. Okay. So our next business case will be what I call the flour mill CBA or collective bargaining agreement. Okay. One time I had a balikbayan client who came in from the States uh, and consulted me about her siblings' affairs and her feng shui too. Apparently, I was surprised that their family owned the biggest, if not one of the biggest, flour mills situated along the Pasig River. And she said, "Can you resolve labor disputes with feng shui?" I said, uh, yeah, nothing wrong because feng shui uh, can be used to promote harmony. What more with an enterprise, no? So she said, "Come with me. There's a board meeting within the week," and to which I acceded. And when I entered the boardroom, all her family siblings were there, together with external directors, no? and one of them was the former central bank governor during martial law period, central bank governor Jimmy Laya. Okay, so when the board meeting settled down to their order of business, uh, they took up the other matters first of concern, and which was the CBA case, no? And the chairman of the flour mill was presiding, introduced me and sought board clearance to have the company Feng Shui for the purpose of promoting industrial peace, no, and having a good CBA result, because already there was what I call saber rattling from the union, no. They might walk out of the agreement, and uh, they were evaluating actually the legal cost of pursuing the CBA controversy versus the simple cost of one-time feng shui. Okay, so they were willing to try, no? And out of the board members, uh, when the external directors were consulted, only one voiced out his opinion, and he said, "I'm sorry, I don't believe in feng shui." And to his chagrin and surprise, I replied, I said, "Sir, aren't you Governor Jimmy Laya?" Said, "Yeah." I said, "I was just in your office yesterday in Makati doing feng shui to your office with your partner in your Laya Mananghaya accounting firm." He blushed. "Oh, so you were the one that my partner was telling me about." And all told, uh, immediately he agreed to the feng shui ratification of the board, no, in pursuing the feng shui for the flour mill. And it was simple. We just did a little landscaping on the front door driveway of the uh, flour mill, putting a small pond and a certain feng shui device that helps combat legal cases. Okay? And while we were doing this, I did it with the assistance of my younger brother, who was expert in assembling the pond assembly for as a small fountain, the submersible pump. And to my surprise, the chairman of the board joined us while we were constructing the small landscaping pond. No? And when we place the small item for legal purposes, we were all surprised that it twirled. It looked like an amazing uh, juggling ball floating on water, spinning endlessly together with the currents of the submersible pump. And even the chairman of the board was so happy and gleeful to see it, like a kid, no? It was an amazing. It's like we constructed a toy, no? So after that, he even asked us to please buy 2 dozen of that type of submersible pump. I said, "Why, sir?" He said, "Let's not scream because these things don't last long. So if one comes out, let's replace right away. We have replacement already. Rather than wait for the lead times and shop for a replacement, we have ready stock." Okay, so wow, what foresight. That's a big difference between in being CEO and an ordinary feng shui guy. He was engineering trained. So so we did it, and in less than 2 weeks' time, the CBA was peacefully and amicably settled. And the sister gave me feedback. Said, what you did in the flour mill, uh, talk was a buzz in all canteens, the rumor mill, the grapevine. The people were happy. The laborers, the unions, they said, wow, they're now landscaping the grounds. The management is now looking after our welfare. So let's sign the CBA. That's simple. Okay? So that ends our lesson in collective bargaining agreement issues. No? If you want industrial peace, there are techniques on how to promote it without being argumentative or combative or just feeding your lawyer with legal fees. Okay? So that's our third uh, case study for tonight. Amazing, right? And before we go for another break, let's tackle the candle factory, another case of an aborted strike. It's also a CBA case, no? And again, this was influenced by fellow JCs in the junior chamber. Uh, my late good friend, JCI Senator Dito Maruhong of Iligan City, introduced me to one of the senior entrepreneur JCI senators from Malabon. No? Apparently, he owned the biggest candle factory in the Philippines, Liwanag Candles, Mr. Sevilla, no? JCI Senator Sevilla. I forgot if his name is Joe or ano, no? Because it was way back in the 90s, no? I was still young then, okay? But my memory serves me short this time, no? So I went to his candle factory and we did the basic feng shui. And he said, what else do we need to do to resolve this crisis? Because at that time, uh, November 1 or All Saints Day, the Day of the Dead, was coming up, and they need to produce buffer stock for, it's a peak season demand. And it will be bad if they will be hit by a strike. No? So time was of the essence. So he was after any quick accelerator from a feng shui viewpoint. And I suggested to him, sir, in feng shui, the secret to plug and play feng shui is to have an arowana. Of course, it's in an aquarium. We place it properly in your office, and it shortens the gestation time of feng shui. Without an arowana, it goes to work, feng shui goes to work 90 days period. Okay? So it might affect your timeline. It might delay your negotiations and even your production to have your buffer stock for All Saints Day. So between investing in an arowana, an aquarium, and its fittings from the pet shop, which at that time was just around at most 5,000 pesos, it was worth the risk taking. I advised him, and he did follow, no? And to his joy and happiness, as related to me later by his colleagues, JCI senators Dito and Ed Chua, no? I forgot the first name of Ed. Also from Malabon, Long Life Enterprise, DCI Senator. No? Also a good friend of another client of mine, who's now the chairman of that flour mill, William T, no, or Bill T. Okay, so uh, the CBA or the strike was averted with a very good CBA agreement. That was a win-win agreement for both parties. Okay, so that ends our fourth business case. I hope you're learning something from this on the amazing effects of Feng Shui, be it for industrial peace or personal investment dilemma, like a 6 billion peso uh, uh, financial workout, with your investment bankers or advisors. Okay, so before we continue, let's pause for some studio reminders, okay?
We'll be back shortly. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui, only here on B Media.
Technology allows us to explore a variety of opportunities. So why not grab one for you? Kickstart your online business with Big Benta. Create an account, visit our store builder, then make your online shop. Be visible, gain customers, and run your business hassle-free. Plus, enjoy the support of our local merchandising team to maximize our platform. Make technology work for you with Big Benta, Pinoy e-commerce site made for you. After this pandemic, let's support the Filipino community. Buy local, visit local, go local.
Okay, so welcome back. I hope you have four nuggets of learning from our first business cases, the first four. Let's continue with the second half, the next four. Okay, first among which will be what I call what you enjoy now, the joys of NLEX, the North Luzon Expressway Feng Shui. Okay. Again, I happened to Feng Shui this case out of serendipity. I was enjoying with my family at Camp Janhay, where the park course was and the kids play the skating rink actually. My kids, my small kids then were skating, and somebody tapped me on the back. I turned around, it was my fellow Manila JC, Gary Espino. And he said, "How are you?" I said, "Okay, I'm fine." And he suddenly popped up the question, Pare, can you help me with my problem? I said, "What, personal?" I said, no, it's professional. It involves my company. Why? What's your company? I said, I'm now with the Lopez Group, Manila North Tollways Corporation, MNTC. I said, "What's your work?" He said, "I'm the Chief Financial Officer, CFO. So I said, "What's your problem?" He said that uh, it's been now for 9 years that the financial and physical rehabilitation of NLEX has been delayed. Can Feng Shui help with that? He said. I said, nothing wrong. Feng Shui is a very basic tool, especially for management, and you can apply it. So I said, okay, I'm more than willing to try, but let's be discreet about it because my colleagues in the company, a good 80+% of them are Opus Dei. Oh, I said, no problem, no conflict with being Opus Dei. I used to be uh, an ardent follower of the student study centers of Opus Dei when I was early in college. So I'm familiar with the culture. I said, good. So when we visited the office, I met his boss, then former DPWH Secretary Ping De Jesus. It's good that Ping De Jesus was familiar with Feng Shui. For as he related, President Cory during his time as DPWH also resorted to Feng Shui for groundbreaking of projects, proper timing of DPWH projects, no? Uh, with Feng Shui advice coming from the Cory side, no? So I said, that's good, sir. At least I will not have difficulty in adjusting. And he just said, can we just do the Feng Shui after office hours when not so many are around, especially the executives, because it may just harbor resistance, no? Because of their belief as Opus Dei. I said, okay. So within the week, Gary and I scheduled a quiet feng shui of their offices in, I think this was, if not Tech-Tite, then Press Building at the time. I, uh, I forgot already, no? But so we did that. When everything was covered, every seat, nook, and cranny was customized for each executive based on their birthdays, from top level to supervisors. I noted to Gary, Gary, this thing is not limited to your office. We have also to do ocular of the NLEX itself, the coverage of the project, your rehab project. So he assigned somebody. We did a tour the next day of from where it starts. Here is off Balintawak when you get out of the NLEX, all the way to, at the time, the end of the project was somewhere near Santa Ines, no, and back. So for every uh, exit, we examined, and and the finding was uh, it, the basic feng shui was done in the office. We also did for certain key office stations along the way. And the only thing now needed was a special feng shui treatment. And since this concerns the careers of all the people involved in the company, you see, their salaries were technically, because of the rehab program lacking the funds, frozen for 9 years. Their salaries were still on the Jurassic early years of the 9 years level, no? So equal to their government, let's say CDCP counterparts, no? But the families, their kids are growing up, literally entering college, and the tuition fees at that time were soaring, incrementing almost 15% annually, no? And it will be a strain to everybody's family net take home pay, no? So they were looking forward to the rehab project as a means to increase the and modernize even the salary scale of the employees. So bottom line, it involved the careers of everyone. And in Feng Shui, the best technique to protect careers is to put a special turtle figurine in their case, because it's hard for them with the environment having Opus Dei, and Filipino superstitious belief, not believing in turtle as a lucky charm, instead believing the traditional perspective that it's malas, it's too slow, it encounters resistance. So I recommended to them with the by the way, the uh, quantification of the rehab project was it needed a 13 billion peso rehabilitation loan from a consortium of uh, 11 banks, no? And year in and year out, for 9 years, the Japanese bank Sumitomo always rejected the consortium uh, offer sheet, no? Uh, for some reason or another. Okay? So, I recommended to Gary na we need a special Feng Shui turtle, which was at that time, a popular one was the Feng Shui series from Lalique, the one with provenance, but you can only get this of Hong Kong, no, not in the Philippines. So he said, oh my God, I have no travels to Hong Kong, so that might have to wait for a while. It so happened, out of serendipity, the next week I was invited by another client, uh, one of the sons of Lucitan, to do some feng shui in some investment houses uh, of his classmates from Canada in Hong Kong. To which I agreed, and to my surprise, I was exposed and reminded of the culture that on the first day of meeting with the investment house client, uh, it's the kampai game, no? They treat you out, your wish is your command, you can ask anything as a gift from them, no? Anything from woman to whatever gift, no? So I took the occasion to ask for that turtle, no, as a gift. And readily, they acceded and brought me to Ocean where the leak shop was. And I made a choice what turtle to buy, no? So to make the long story short, on the way back from Hong Kong, I called up Gary and I said, Gary, let's not waste time. Uh, I have a pasalubong for you. I got the turtle you need. No? So let's position it in your office. If you can have me fetch at the airport, so uh, in time after office work, nobody around, only us, we can place it. No? So no opposition, no resistance. Agreed, and we were able to place it accordingly, no? According to Feng Shui principles. The next day, at around 6 p.m., in time for the daily news watch at that time, I was at home, relaxing, lounging. Gary called me up in my cell phone. Said, "Where are you?" I said, "At home." "Okay, can you open your TV?" Where? Channel 9, News Watch. So I opened, and there he was in front of the camera talking to me with his cell phone. He said, pare, successful yung turtle natin. I said, why? Later, I'll pass by for you after this ceremonies here. They were already groundbreaking, the rehabilitation. So after, he passed by for me to share the story. Over a few rounds of drinks nearby, he shared that that morning, the auditor who was of the consortium banks assigned, was a vice president of Sumitomo Bank, a Japanese, visited his CFO office. It's a good thing he was there. And when saw the turtle, he asked, "What's that?" Oh, he said, "I'm sorry, sir, you might not understand, but that's for Feng Shui." No? Oh, the vice president said, "Feng Shui. Now you know what you're doing. Give me the papers." He said, "I will sign the document for the 13 billion peso release." So right there and then, the rehab problem was solved. And thereafter, uh, Gary enjoyed many other feng shui occasions with us together, selling houses, and he's moving in career happily ever after. Okay, so that's end story. And even for the company, MNTC, no, Manila North Tollways Corporation, aside from being on the recovery path already with the rehab, uh, another serendipitous moment occurred. I had a get together with my classmates in college in one of the homes in Forbes Park. So happened a former finance secretary of Gloria was there, and I was kidding him about a poor investment move that he and his colleagues made. I think they bought Burger King uh, with so much liabilities. I said, why bother on such garbage investments? I'm sure you can create financial magic with that, but you know, there are so many diamonds in the backyard. I said, what? What do you mean? There is a company for sale, MNTC, the NLEX project of the Lopez's. It was for sale at that time, and it's a cash cow, and it has intrinsic investment value. I said, yeah? What's the intrinsic investment value? He said. I said, uh, tell your partners the best intrinsic value of an expressway billboard advertising. It's just in a lockout right now. You cannot do billboard for 7 years. And I think the 7 years will expire soon. And from then on, if you're the new owner, you can do your thing. No? So the synergies of your advertising for products, whatever, if your partner is, let's say, MVP, one packet to another. No? So that was end of story in our cocktail night get together that night. 2 weeks later, I learned in the papers their group bought the Lopez Group MNTC. Okay, so now we're enjoying the benefits of that conversation as well as the feng shui of NLEX today. No, hopefully that's why each time I pass by NLEX, I have very happy memories. No, and I really enjoy the ride. Okay. By the way, because uh, that is a very cost economical engineering of roads. No, they just recycle the asphalt by adding more rubber to the recycled asphalt. It even makes the road better every year. Okay, so that's our end of story for the NLEX 13 billion rehab program and the small turtle that caused it. No, okay. So Hub Turtle will travel. Okay, that's our lesson there. Our next fifth business case would be the stockbroker and bank owner who survived jail and even a bank run. Okay, so this happened when a college friend of mine who's a deep feng shui aficionado whose career rose from a credit clerk. That time he was treasurer of the bank he worked for. Now he's a bank president. No, his ultimate career dream. No, achieved. No, of course with a little help from feng shui. No, all throughout. No, uh, Mr. Tony Mungkupa of East West Bank used to be with uh, iBank. Okay, so when he was with iBank, he asked me uh, to please meet his boss if feng shui can resolve a certain dilemma. So we went to Tech Tight. It so happened that his boss was part of the bank ownership, the owner of Wealth Securities, uh, Wilson C. No, uh, the famed one of the samurais of the local stock market. I don't know what it meant. No, I'm not into active stock trading. But anyway, when we went and met at the uh, lounge, no, over lunch, introduced me to Doctora Florence, the wife of Wilson, and of course Wilson. And he stated the problem that at that time it was at the height aftermath actually of the BW stock manipulation scandal. No? And to cut the long story short, he was afraid he might end up in jail because he was summoned by the president then to return what was the investment money around 5 billion pesos lost in the stock market by the president and his partner. No, I forgot the name. No, but um, I said, okay, we just resort to the basic feng shui motions, no, for your office, then your home. Okay, so there was initial resistance because, well, he was a self-made billionaire, and he was like Gordon Gecko, no, in Wall Street. He was like a gnome of Wall Street and a godfather of the stock market. And he said, I really don't believe in feng shui, I'm a self-made man, self-made billionaire. And so with that, I just turned to Tony and said, di naman pala naniniwala sa feng shui, uwian na lang tayo, di ba? I mean, what's the use of engaging in feng shui? It's good thing Doctora, his wife, better half, intervened and said, no, let's go through the motions because of the simple thing. That's why we wanted to try feng shui is we cannot wake up one day to the reality. Let's say if it's true, the threat of the president that he will throw my husband in jail, what's the future for my kids? So I said, okay, let's go. Since we finished lunch, we started doing feng shui in his office. As I was moving his desk to the proper orientation, he, I think, if I remember right, being a dragon. No? So we oriented it in the proper dragon's place, no? Place of command and power and good chi. No? He asked me, uh, will I not go to jail if I move that table there? And I said, whoever threatened you might even go to jail first. Okay? So, uh, with what we're doing, okay? So he just laughed it off, no? But with skepticism. And the next, we went to his house and somewhere in Corinthian Gardens and did Feng Shui, no? And I just noted uh, there was a small kawa pan situated badly in the worst part of the house. And I told him, we have to move that uh, because uh, that causes bankruptcy. And he was laughing like, and I said, look, I'm just telling you objectively what is Feng Shui by the books. Empirical experience shows that if you have water in that direction, you can go bankrupt. And he couldn't imagine himself going bankrupt, no, with all his billions in stock, no, and of course owning a bank, no. So the other thing bad in his house was he had a pet cannery with a passport gifted to him by investment bankers from Hong Kong and was singing, a full note, which he enjoyed very much. And I said, pet canaries, it's not the bird that's the problem, it's the cage. A caged bird in a house means the owner can be jailed. So no wonder you receive a jail threat. And no less than the president of the Philippines pa. And his mom, who was around, Ama, uh, told him so. She was agreeable because she knew, traditional feng shui. She knew that a caged bird is also bad. No? So he asked me, what's the cure? So I said, get rid of the bird. You can gift it to any, the best is to give it to any parish priest na friend mo because the priest has to be caged inside the confines of the church and hindi mang chicks, no? Not to stay away from the Vatican, no? Uh, okay lang for to enjoy the singing bird inside this convent or cloister. So he did so. He gifted it to I think the nearby parish priest in Green Hills. No, okay. So all told, everything was said and done. Uh, One day, early the next year, he calls me. Hey, have you seen the news? I said no. I was so busy. It was around something like Chinese New Year or so. I said why? You know, the president who threatened me is being arrested now from his house, and it's all over the news on TV. You were right. He will be jailed first. Oh, don't say that. I said. Said why? Uh, that's assuming that you will be jailed next, no? So forget the first, no? So only him will be jailed. Okay. So we both laughed it off. Okay. So it was a happy ending on the first issue. No more threat of getting jailed. Okay. So the one who threatened him got jailed. Okay. And of course, the stock market issue faded away. BW. Okay. Next, on a Good Friday, same year, he calls me at an unholy hour. I said, why? He said, remember the kawa you told me about? I said, yes. can you gather people? Since I have no gardener, it's Holy Week, everybody is on leave, uh, open budget, uh, to please move it to the rightful place where you pointed to me in that part of my house. I said, why? What happened? Kanya, haven't you heard? Since Holy Tuesday, iBank was suffering a bank run. They were bleeding so much, and to build up confidence, they were attending to the demands of the withdrawals, no, of their nearest Tektite branch, no, because this was near the homes of most of the owners, uh, so they can easily supply the funds, no. It being a holiday, cannot be readily supplied from offices, no. So they just opened a special window, the Tektite branch. When I went to their house in Corinthian, wow, there was a horde of money bags almost up to the ceiling of his mansion, heavily guarded by security men like SWAT. Uh, and my team, the Barcadas, whom I gathered to move the Kawa Pan, were amazed at what's that? one one of the security whispered to us, "That's uh, 5 billion pesos," and we're guarding it. It's it's on standby for the bank run in case it needs another 5 billion. No, being liquidated by withdrawals in the nearest bank branch. Okay, so we went about our job. We transferred the kawa to the rightful place, and as we were transferring the kawa, his mom was spanking him with a walis ting ting, scolding him, saying, "See, I told you so. Uh, this can cause ano, bad luck, and this time bankruptcy, no." And it's a good thing. In due time, we were able to stem it with the movement of the kawa. The bankrupt stopped. Never did the 5 billion in stock move out of their house. No, at least it was preserved. Okay, so that solves the business case. The threat of being jailed and the bank run, stopping a bank run with a minor feng shui move against bankruptcy. Okay, so that ends our business case number 6. We have 2 more to go. Okay, and just around enough time. No, the next story is let me check my código. Sorry, yeah. Uh, okay. Okay, let's go. Oh, there. Okay, let me jump first to actually what's supposed to be the last story is the Philippine refining company total quality solution, no? Problem. Well, one of my clients, Bongo Ferraren, who was from Electromedia Advertising and Productions, he was also the creative director of Philippine Refining Company for all their branded products, no? Breeze, Rejoy, I think personal care products. So he said, "Are you free this afternoon? Uh, Please do me a favor. We have a feng shui problem to present to you for solution. There's a board meeting at our UN Avenue office at 6 p.m. It's timely because I was working then. I'm out by 5, 1 hour traffic, enough to reach United Nations. I worked downtown that time, so I chartered a Calesa. Okay, so from 5 p.m. the Calesa traveled its way to Quiapo, uh, Nagtahan, crossing the Pasig, and I ended up in UN Avenue, eventually into their driveway. And as I alighted from the Calesa, I was greeted by the board of directors of Philippine Refining Company, which, to my surprise, majority were from the Netherlands. No, they were all white. No, and London. No, so I asked. I met the chairman of the board, Mr. Cesar Buenaventura. Of course, Bongo escorted me, introduced me to the marketing director, Ole van Straten. Okay, he was a Dutch guy. You know? So we went up to the boardroom, and business went to order right away. No, the order of business first tackled the feng shui problem. So the chairman of the board, Mr. Cesar Bautista, presented the case that they had during that time, the early 90s. If you notice, all the products were printed with this inverted triangle with the words total quality underneath. So it was a prescribed total quality program from their head office. So being multinational branches worldwide, they had to conform with it. However, they met market resistance in the Philippines. No, wholesalers like Swissing, Binondo wholesalers that were responsible for distributing it for the rest of the Philippines, from Divisoria, uh, didn't want to patronize their product. And they said it was because the feedback was bad feng shui generated by the total quality design. And when I looked at it, indeed it was an inverted triangle. And Olivan Stratton explained that it was an inverted triangle because the triangle inverted represented the torso of a person, especially women, to connote fashion, no? The silhouette of the human body. And that's the focus of personal care. Di ba? You use soap for your armpits. Well, basically, the core of your personal care is the torso. So, and the message was they were providing total quality management for all their personal care products for the consumer. But there was market resistance. And as Mr. Ole explained, they encounter feng shui in Vietnam, Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, and nothing wrong. As a matter of management policy, they do as the Romans do. They conform with the culture in order to fit into the respective markets that they serve. So in this case, they couldn't understand why, for the first time in the Philippines, they met so much resistance. No, only later did I learn from a fellow classmate who was. Only later did I learn he was also involved in uh, PRC as an active marketing guy. Delphine Vivar Jr. or June Vivar, who was almost chairman also, save for health problems for the whole Unilever or PRC outfit. In one homecoming, shared with me, said, "Oh, you were the one who feng shui that." You know, said, that total quality silhouette problem, the triangle, uh, distributors didn't want to carry a product, and we were losing around 600 million pesos at the time you were called in. So he asked me, "What did you do then?" Share to me the story, and then so isang kwento na lang. Uh, yung kwento ko sa kanya, kwento ko sa inyo ngayon para isang kwentuhan na lang tayo. Okay? So I said, when they presented that problem, I had to rest my case on the basis of presenting the feng shui problem clearly to them. I said, any triangle pointing downward is bad feng shui. It's like uh, failure, symbol for failure, uh, pointing down. Okay. So the other thing is triangles are bad in feng shui because they're abrasive. They have sharp corners. They wound the sensitivities and interests of your stakeholders. Okay. So two negative factors. So they said, is there a feng shui remedy for that? So I said, gentlemen, here I rest my case. It takes genius to accept the obvious. If downward triangle is bad, it means failure. We flip it upwards to connote success. Okay, so from down to up. Okay, so they readily agreed on that. But I said there's another problem. Even if we do that, it still has sharp corners. It will still wound the interests of your stakeholders, and they will be continuously complaining. So to cure that is either you put a circular border to surround the triangle or a grayscale halo, no? It's like pixelation only, no? I mean, optical illusion that when you look at the triangle, it's brightened up as if, like a saint, it has a halo or a circle surrounding the triangle. But it's a light effect, no? Not a defined line or circle. So they all agreed for that simple flipping motion and encirclement with the halo. They resolved the problem. The board ratified the motion. And later on, all the spots, the commercials on TV, and even the printing of the products with the total quality sign in their wrappers were all changed. And I was happy for Bongo because of his recommendation and his appreciation of Feng Shui. It also had happy returns for him for each ad that he had to flip in terms of electromedia services. Uh, I gathered that the cost was 200,000 each. Okay, so many products with that, eh, it enabled him to have his own building. I understand later, which I also feng shui here in at the tip of Ayala and Magtikan. Okay, so anyway, that's end of story for uh, how Unilever practically sold. And later on, I learned from June Vivar that after that effort, the net result was they doubled their bottom line. Uh, Initially, they lost 600 million. They netted 1.2 billion later. Okay, so that's how it was. No wonder after that, around 3 months later, uh, the chairman, Cesar Bautista, summoned me again to his office to feng shui him personally because he was retiring. He wanted a happy retirement. So we did, and the net result was he became an ambassador of St. James to London, living happily ever after. Okay, and another 3 months later, uh, the marketing director, Mr. Ole Van Straten, summoned me again to the chairman's office, and there he was, like the big boss, sitting on the chairman's table with his feet covering upward that way, pointing to me, opening that way gradually, and when it opened, he was holding his tobacco in his mouth, smoking, and he said, "Mr. Feng Shui, how can I return the favor?" I said, "Why?" "You see, because of your Feng Shui, I'm now chairman of the board. Do you have any interest in distribution? Would you like to distribute our products? I will give you a concession." I said, "I don't understand anything about concession. I'm sorry. I'm not yet even an entrepreneur or a businessman." Okay? So all I did to uh, return his favor was to ask their support in our JC projects, which he acceded, no? And to which I thank Unilever for supporting most of our Manila JC projects under my committee chairmanship during those times. No? Okay, so that's it for the Unilever aspect. Okay, now let me check on the last case. What was that? Mm-hmm. For a while, please. Mm-hmm. Lapit na. Lapit na. There. Okay. So the last case is, we have, actually we've covered all 8. Sorry. No wonder I'm confused. We've covered everything. So in the meantime, would you have any questions? Just comment and we'll highlight it. We have a few remaining minutes enough to entertain a few questions. No questions? Okay, no problem. I can understand why there are no questions at the moment. No? Okay, so that's it for tonight. This will be a series of 8 stories. No? Each session. Next session, we'll have unbelievable 8 Feng Shui love stories. Then it will be followed by also awesome 8 Feng Shui ghost stories. Let's face it, paranormal is a reality. And even in my Feng Shui practice, I've encountered the reality of ghosts and even, suffice it to say, ghost busting. No? Okay. But most of the time, I would rather run away. Okay. So with that, I hope you enjoyed these learning stories tonight. And should you have any concerns parallel to these cases and you would like to consult, just feel free to get in touch with me, no, through this page. Okay? So until next time, please remember, sa ikaunlad ng bayan, Feng Shui po ang kailangan. Maraming salamat, Big Media, to the staff, and of course, to our fellow classmates tonight. Good night, and have a happy weekend ahead.
For harnessing luck and success in doing business. This is Philippine Business Feng Shui at your service.
Yes.
Sa ikaunlad ng bayan, Feng Shui ang kailangan. Hosted by your partner in luck, Master Aldric Dalumpines. Every Wednesdays at 8 p.m. See you on our next learning modules for luck in business. Only here on Big Media.